Alright, so I thought I'd make a video, um, a retro gaming video. So this is about retro video games. Um, so I had an idea for this video for a couple days, but I didn't know um, exactly what to say yet in it. But so I mean, I didn't know exactly how the topic would like what the topic would be. So I came up with this. So what are your I'll see how to word this. So I'm still struggling with the topic a little bit, but so what are your 10 favorite retro gaming years? So like it could be any 10 years. Like for instance, like 1985 to 1995 or something. Like, what are the 10 years that are most nostalgic and sentimental to you? So that's the topic um, that I'm trying to get at here today. So for me, I would have to go with 19. Like, just this is just straight from 1980 to 1990. Those 10 years in particular are the 10 years I'm most nostalgic and sentimental about. I started making like a list. Um, I started making a bunch of lists for like favorite games by like company, like especially like arcade games because arcade games are my favorite. And I listed a whole bunch of games, and then I counted off like what years that they came out, and almost all of them were from 1980 to 1990. There were very few after 1990. There's some from like 91. There's some from 92. Um, there's actually very few after 92, but there's some from 91 and some from 92. So that's like kind of a hard cutoff date for me is 92. It seems like, but as far as like the years that I'm most sentimental about, it seems to be 1980 to 1990 for sure. Um, After 1990, there is a huge drop off of favorite games that I've listed by like all these arcade companies like Namco, Sega, um, SNK, Capcom, and so on. So like for Capcom, for instance, here was the list off the top of my head that I came up with just now. So Legendary Wings, Sidearms, Hyperdyne, Forgotten Worlds, Black Tiger, Bionic Commando. Those are all 80s games. Magic Sword is 90, so there's one. Tiger Road, 1943. 1943, what year did that come out? Speed Rumbler, Strider, that's 89. Strider and Willow are both 89. They're not 90. Three Wonders, I think, is 91, and Varth is 92. And then there's Section Z. So most of the Capcom games that I listed are they're all 80s except for a few 90s, early 90s, but they're mostly 80s. Sega, here's the games that I came up with like off the top of my head. These are the ones that I thought of first. So Corte, Alex Kidd, Flicky, Transformer, Fantasy Zone. Those are all 80s, right? Scramble Spirits, Rough Racer. That's a 90 game. That's 1990. Enduro Racer, Shinobi, Shadow Dancer's 89. Golden Axe, that's still late 80s. Altered Beast, I think is 89. Might be, it's late 80s. So there's only one 90 game that I came up with, but it was 90. It wasn't after that. Here's like Irem. I came up with Kid Nicky, Dragon Breed, Image Fight, R-Type, Ninja Spirit. Those are all 80s games. So here's Namco. Mirai Ninja, Marvel Land. Marvel Land is 89 when it first came out. Pac-Land, Mappy. Let's see. Shadow World, Dragon Spirit, Philios, Tower of Druaga, Gapless, Marchand Maze, all 80s games. I don't even know if I listed a 90s. Ordyne, I think that's like 88. I don't. Valkyrie, I think that's still late 80s. So see? Like, Tecmo. Let's see what I listed for Tecmo. So, Rygar, Bomb Jack, Solomon's Key, Backfire. Backfire's late 80s. Sabotin Bombers. Now, Sabotin Bombers is 92. Ninja Gaiden, that's 88, I think. So, like, you can see, like, most of the games that I listed that are coming, you know, mostly they're 1980 to 1990. Very few from 91, 92, and I didn't list any from 93 on. So I just found that really interesting. Let's see if I can find some other of my lists here. But, like, I would like to know, like, do you have a hard cutoff date? Well, not a hard cutoff date, but just like your 10 favorite years that you're most sentimental about and like nostalgic for. The 10 years that have the most meaning to you in retro gaming. So those are mine, and it's not that I don't like games from like after that. Like there's several games from the early 90s that I like after like 1990, but like a hard cutoff would be like probably 92. Very few games that I care for that much. And it's not that I haven't played them. I have I've played games all throughout the 90s and early 2000s. It's just that I just didn't have the same feeling about them as I did the previous years. So they don't have as much meaning to me. They don't feel as special. I don't know if it's just because I, grew up in the 80s and early 90s era, just, when I was younger, that those definitely left a lasting impression on me. I think that does have something to do with it, but like even in later years, like those are always that era is always what I came back to every time. So that era has definitely had a lasting impression on me to this day. The whole decade of the 80s and the year 1990 for sure as well. And 91 and 92 to a lesser extent as well were pretty cool. So yeah, let me know what your 10 favorite years are. I just thought it was kind of an interesting video. Just trying to think of retro gaming topics to discuss, since I have really bad hands and arms, and I'm actually unable to play any games anymore. Unless a miracle happens and my doctors are able to help me out here. But until then, I can only talk about games and watch other people play, pretty much. But I had a good time playing games while it lasted. But I had been playing games since I was, pretty little. I'm 43 now, by the way. So I'm not going to keep that a secret or anything. 43 now. I've been playing games since I was like, I don't know. That's hard to say. Maybe like 5 or 6 or something. So, I mean, the first games I ever remember seeing and playing were like, some of them were definitely arcade games, like Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong Jr. I remember that. These are some of my first like memories of seeing and playing any kind of games. I remember the Commodore Amiga, and there was like Pac-Man on there and some other games. So I remember that. Of course, the NES, of course, Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, all that. Atari, Combat, all that stuff, and a whole bunch of other stuff. The Apple II at school, Oregon Trail, all that. Choplifter. This is some of my earliest gaming memories. All those that I mentioned. Load Runner, Boulder Dash. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I would love to know what others' favorite 10 years are for gaming. If you had to choose, um, probably a lot of people's aren't as like hard cut off as mine, but I'm sure you have 10 years um, where those years were just the most sentimental to you. Let me know down below, and also maybe let me know if you want some other topics you'd like me to cover, retro gaming related, that we can talk about, because that's kind of what I'm looking for here, on this channel. So I'd like to do more retro gaming topics other than the other topics that I've been doing, just to change things up a little bit. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.